oh, 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 bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum. Hey, YouTubers, this is Jacques Gaines. I think everything is recording and we're live and ready to go. You guys, this is a live stream, and what it is a Ask Me Anything live photo edit and Q&A. If you guys feel like asking questions, please do, because I'm going to edit. You might get a bit bored with the edit, but it doesn't really matter. We're here to talk and exchange, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So, basically, yes, that's about it. That's all I wanted to say right there. I guess before, oh, what's happening with my stream health? I'm not getting great stream health, but it doesn't matter. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, so one person's watching. That's cool. Sorry about that delay there, guys. Listen, I am here to tell you about, now before we start, there's a couple of things I just want to tell you guys. Like, subscribe, smash that like button, people. Smash that like button if you can. It would be really nice if you could. It always helps a lot if you smash that like button because it helps. And subscribe to the channel if you can. I also have a couple of relevant videos that have to do with Luminar. The Luminar review came out, I think, yesterday morning. So if you guys can check that review out. And there's also the behind the scenes with Shaolin, which came out actually this morning, right this morning. So if you can check those out, it would be kind of cool. And I have another video on how the DSLR is dead. And I think that's a cool video. It's just not getting a lot of, it's not getting a bunch of view time, and I find it kind of weird. But it's basically about the DSLR and why I decided to keep mine. Okay, so now, so what I want to do today is do a live edit in Luminar, and I want to make sure you guys remember you can ask me questions about everything. It doesn't have to only be about Luminar. It can be about a lot of other stuff. Please go ahead. It's all about just talking about stuff today on the live stream. Also, I'm working with Luminar for today. I use Luminar for basically as a plugin in Photoshop, and that's the way I edit. If you guys use Luminar as a standalone, all I can say is that it's probably very good as a standalone, but for myself, I basically use it as a plugin within Photoshop. So that's about it. Now let's go look at my workflow. Let's look at the workflow and how I work. Oh, pardon me, I just ate and it was delicious. Okay, so what I do is I work in Bridge. I open my files in Bridge. Yes, Bridge, people, not Lightroom. The old friggin' Adobe Bridge, which I'm very familiar with. And the value of knowing something is worth a lot. Therefore, I open in Bridge. I retouch a tiny bit in Photoshop. Then I move to Luminar 4 to bring some drama into my photo. Basically, Luminar 4 for me is really a drama plugin. It's something that really gives a lot of punch to my photos. And then I re-import into Photoshop via a layer. And within that layer, I export from Photoshop. So there you go. That's basically the way I work within Luminar 4. Again, remember, it is a personal thing. It is up to you guys, depending on what you like and what you prefer. It all is just a question of where you want to go with the software. You can use it as a plugin. You can use it as a standalone. Okay. So before I start, I just wanted to tell you guys also as well that all the photos I am using today, I shot with the GFX 50R, which is a 50 megapixel camera. It is an amazing camera. It's medium format and it is sharper than hell. It's a really cool camera to use. And I was lucky enough to use the 63mm f2.8. So it was really nice to play with that camera. And you're going to see with some of the shots, when I use natural light, the amount of dynamic range on that camera is really good. In these shots right here that you're going to see, you're going to see a lot of natural light, on these shots. But some of the shots were done, the portrait photos were done with flash. So, you guys, without further ado, I will get into the edit. Now, I got a couple of edits. I'm not too sure. I said I'd probably decide right now, so I'm just going to tell you. There's 1715, 1964. And there's, what is the other one? 1957. Let's look at that. Okay, now, just for the hell of it, I just wanted you guys to note. Wait, it's going to load. Oh, give it a second. And once it loads, you're going to see the sharpness of the image. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty darn good. I really find that it is pretty amazing. 1964. Let me look at that. This is a bit blasted, as you can see. There's a bit of a blast in there. You guys comment, ask questions, go for it. Ask whatever you like. It's always appreciated. I'll try to answer it the best I can. That's a nice shot, but I do think I'm probably going to go for that studio shot and try to make it better. So let's go to 1715. There you go. Oh, by the way, all you Americans, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving out there as I eat my ginger snap. So I think this is the image we're going to edit. Let me get myself ready. I'm going to do a quick portrait edit on this. And then we're probably going to go to another shot. 1715. Let me see the other shots there. Give me a second. We're going to do, which number is it? Just got to find the number, everybody. The one that's on the actual thumbnail. It's a crazy shot. There it is. Right there. Let me go into the green one. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay. There are some great shots there. Seriously. There it is. 2270. I write that down so I know which one it is. 2270. So let's go back to 1715 and let's edit that one. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is open this up, and it's going to open into Adobe Camera Raw. As you can see, I blasted a bit too much here. The light is a bit too strong. Very tough to recover from highlights. Pull down the highlights a bit. Open that up. This is really we're going to do a quick edit for this portrait. Main. I made a new layer, called it main. I'm going to crop it because I want to make it just a portrait. And what's great about the GFX is that when you're making, when you do crop, it's not that bad because you're already at 50 megapixels. So let's say I use 4.5 when I do edits. When I do portrait, let's say I go in here, put it in a portrait mode like this, and try to get her hair as much as possible. Like this. Let's say I get that. You can crop some of the hair out. Depends on who you are. Some people don't like to, but never did like that pose, that tilted head pose. I find it's just an old type of pose. I'm not a big fan of it. Now you see the sharpness. Look, I just cropped that just so you guys can see. And it's still at 4740 by 5925. So it's pretty crazy how much you can. Now, as I said before, I always do a tiny bit of retouching in Photoshop. Retouches. I create a layer. I use, anyone who's watched my station will know what I do, but I create a layer. Then I use the healing brush. When I press healing brush, I press current layer and below right here. When I press current layer and below, I can go in there and work on the healing brush. Oh. Zoom in, do a couple of healing brush edits, not that many, because I do want to show what Luminar can do for skin. But right now as it stands, there's one thing Luminar does very well, and that's AI skin enhancer. It's really good, but the actual button there that takes away faults is not great so far. That's what I've found. So I prefer to just do it in Photoshop. There you go. A couple of blemishes here. Not that much stuff to do. Not that bad. If anybody can just shoot down, because for some reason my web page is showing me a frozen screen. So if you guys, anyone out there can tell me how my stream health is, if it's okay, if you're seeing what you're supposed to see, because right now I just have a frozen screen on my web page right now. So if someone can just send me a message saying yes, the stream is okay or whatever, I would appreciate it. Okay. Go out here. Up here, there's like this little white mark that I never knew what it was. That's part of her skin. What I'm going to go do is retouch that. I'm not going to be the easiest thing, but I'll try my best. Yeah, that looks pretty natural. That's okay. That's all via the healing brush. By the way, in the new version of Photoshop, healing brush really does do a great job. It really, everything is like, they're starting to use AI as well within their software. So there you go. We're just going to go for that for now. Now I'm going to take this and press Shift Control Alt E, make a new layer, call that main. And in that layer, I am going to go, you know what? I'm not going to call it main. I'm going to call it Luminar. I'm going to take that layer, go to Filter. I've already installed Luminar as a plugin. Therefore, you just go in. The streaming is perfect. All right, Mario. Thank you very much for saying that. So now if you go into the, so what I've done is I've made a layer, flattened the layer. I had all my retouches here. I flattened the layer with those retouches. Let me just see something. Why does that look a bit blurry? No, that isn't blurry. That isn't blurry. Okay, Control 0, go back out. I make this layer and I call it Luminar. Now what I do is I go Filter. I've installed Luminar as a plugin. Therefore it shows up here. I press Luminar 4. Luminar now automatically opens, and while we're waiting, I'm just going to write thank you here. Okay, good stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do in this one is just work with the portrait enhancer so you guys can see how we can do some great stuff in portraits. I will dick around with light because I really like the way Luminar deals with light, color, temperature. Now, I find that when you use the slider here, I find it better than Adobe Camera Raw. I can put my exposure here. That's nice. Not touching too much. AI Enhance and AI Structure. I'm not a big fan of those. I like them, they're okay, but I'm not a big fan. Color as well is stuff you can do in Photoshop anyway. I really do enjoy people black and white conversion. If you like black and white conversion, I really feel Luminar 4's black and white conversion is way superior to Photoshop's. I mean it. If you like instant gratification and you want to do something black and white, it's crazy how good it is. Denoise Landscape Enhancer and Vignette, which I'll be using after. Let me go straight right now to the Portrait tab, and I'll go right into AI Skin Enhancer. I'm going to be a bit mindless here. I'm just going to slide the slider right up, right to the top. Now, when you're looking at the image, you got to give it a certain amount of time. Luminar takes a little bit of time. When you move it up, it's blurry, and then all of a sudden the processing works. Let me zoom into this so you guys can see. Okay. This is a great picture to show this. Now, this is actually post. I will use the slider to show you what it looked like before. That is what the skin looked like before, and that's what it looks like now. One of the best places is probably here. check mostly on this side of the nose. Watch what happens to the skin. See that? Now, as I've explained to a lot of people about the, that is really pretty darn good. It's pretty darn good. So, I mean, all of you people out there, even the pros, if you're into frequency separation and you're into healing brush and the whole thing, go ahead, do it, do what you have to do, but this is a time saver. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's better than manually doing frequency separation because there's a certain amount of judgment that goes in, but I really think it does a great, great job. And I think you guys should go and check out my review. Like, I do mention the good things that the software does, but I also mention some of the bad stuff. And one of the good things, though, that I do mention about the software is the fact that when you do tone down some of these slider solutions, you get a solution that's pretty darn good and toned down like someone would tone down. It's hard to explain, but it actually does a good job at saying, okay, this, if I put this at full, like this, you get a full, completely impeccable skin edit. But if you pull it down, it seems to know how someone who would moderately edit would edit. So it's just not a filter stuck on top, and then they just take away the transparency. I personally like it high. Now, the other thing I wanted to say, this thing right here, AI skin defects removal. For now, I think they need to develop it a bit more. I think it just doesn't do a great job. What it does is it goes to get stuff that you might like a beauty mark or something like that, that you might want to keep. It just, it's not great. I'll bring this down to about 77. See what that looks like. Let's go look at the skin. Let's do a before and after. Before, after, before, after. Really, really nice. That is really nice. Whoa, that's crazy. Anyways, so I'm going to leave that like that. Now, the next step, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off the before and after here, and I'm going to go into Portrait Enhancer. Just going to answer a question here. Somebody's saying, peut-être un exemple de traitement en noir et blanc d'un portrait dans Luminar. Yeah, I'll do that right at the end, guy. For sure. Somebody's asking about looking at the black and white treatment and how it does. I'll finish the edit and then I'll try to go back to that. And CMJ, if you can, if I don't do it, just remind me, okay? Okay, so let's pull ourselves out of this shot just a bit. Give me a second. Where's my mouse? There you go. Okay, so I'm pulling myself out here, and now I'm gone into the tab called Portrait Enhancer right here. So let's say I go into Portrait Enhance. Now, the first tab right here is called Face Light. It basically detects the face and goes and brings out some light and some accentuation thereafter. It's a tab I like to use afterward and not before, because I want to make sure my edit is nice. And I think the light is already pretty darn good on this shot. Eye whitening. One of the viewers mentioned to me that they weren't a big fan of eye whitening, but it is something that a lot of people do. I'll show you what it does. It actually goes and gets the whites of the eyes and brings in some whitening in there. I thought this example was also good. Okay, so you got to sorry, I'm all confused. Okay, so whether you want eye whitening or not, it's up to you. Some people don't agree with it. I like to do it. I personally always dodge and burn the whites of my eyes. So you can bring up eye whitening and it's done. You don't have to deal with anything else. Eye enhance has to do with anything involving sharpening of the actual eyes. So sharpening and enhancing, it does everything. For example, the catch light that's right here, it's going to go and accentuate that. So I'll pull this up right now and you'll see what it does. This is exaggerated at 100%. And this is when I bring it down. So you got to decide to what extent you want that effect in there. There you go. You can see that it really goes and sharpens all the aspects of the eyes. It's really great because on a 50 megapixel picture, you really get to see the example. I'm going to do before and after so you guys can see. This is before. This is after. Before. After. Mireille really does have nice eyes, so I'm going to bring that eye enhancer down a bit. Before. There you go. After. and eye whitening just a tad down. There you go. Dark circles removable. That's something anyone who's shot in daylight will get those little raccoon eyes, and it'll actually go and take care of that. It'll select where it's dark underneath the eyes or in here and go and take that out. I'll go into a couple of other things really quick so you can see. There is the slim face function where it actually slims the face down. So, you know, that's instead of just actually using the liquify in Photoshop. So there's the face before, there's the face after. Okay. Again, I don't know if I need to use slim face, but I just wanted to show you guys to what extent you can do it. See that? You see it especially right here on the jaw. Took, the jaw comes in. And everything around is still believable. That's what I find a bit nuts about this. I personally will not slim face that much. Just wanted to show that you can do it. Another cool thing is enlarge eyes. And again, I picked the wrong model for this because everything about her just looks great. But you can enlarge the eyes in one slider like this. Okay, that's a bit nuts. Like, I'm just doing it. That's crazy. I know it's nuts. But you can bring this up a bit. And depending on your model and who you have, let's say you bring it to this amount, it can bring in a nice look. That's the normal eyes, and that's the enlarged eyes. Normal, enlarged, normal, enlarged. So what I'm going to do is bring that down because I don't need it on Mireille at all. Eyebrow improve just replaces what you do in a dodge and burn. You like dodge, you go in it and burn the eyebrows a bit. Oops, sorry, I enlarged the eyes again. Eyebrow improve. So it's burning in those eyebrows a tiny bit. Again, I also had a fantastic makeup artist that day. I'm going to leave you guys the link below to her Instagram. She's just a great artist, a great makeup artist. Lip saturation, you can bring that up. Not a big fan of redness in eyes. I like lips that are very natural. That's just me. So this is before and this is after. Just wanted to show you guys. Lip redness, you can change that and get really red. I have a feeling if you guys do a lot of trade for print with models, a lot of them like to see their lips nice and red, so it might be something that's interesting. Teeth whitening I can't really do on this because her mouth is like semi-shut. But there you go. So what I'm going to do is take this, show you what that looks like. There you go. That's what that looks like. That's in Portrait Enhancer. That's what I think should be done in this part of the software. Now I'm just going to go back, and for CMJ, I'm just going to show him what the black and white thing does and how good it is. I believe it's in here, black and white conversion. Just so you can see. Convert to black and white. There's something about what it does and how it does it. And when you play with your filters, like this is the red filter, you can come and bring that in. It just does a really nice job. It's really, really nice. So there you go. I just wanted to show that so you could see it. Now back into portrait, just for a little thing. I wanted to show you a couple things. Now they've put two things, Orton effect and high key. They're two effects that you can bring in. That the high key just brings in a lot of drama and it's really kind of cool. What I would do for both high key and Orton effects is I would open the layers panel, start a new layer, add new adjustment layer, and within that layer, then you go add a high key amount, bring it up. You can bring it up quite a bit. Okay. And then after, go back to that layer and decide how you're going to blend that into your shot. Is it going to be there just a bit? Are you going to do overlay, hard light? Let's say you say hard light, that's what you want, but you don't want the effect as much. You can bring down that layer and play with the layer that you have right there. So anyone who's wondering where layers are, they're still there. And there you go. I just wanted to show you that right there. I'm going to go here and just delete layer. Okay. Back in here. portrait enhancer. You'll also notice when you go to each layer, the things that you've already affected and worked on will be shown, and they'll be highlighted a bit so you can see them. Okay, so let's go back into portrait enhancer. Eyebrow improve has been done. That's all done. Good stuff. The other thing I wanted to show you was Orton effect. This is great for dreamy shots. I find when I do body shots, artistic nude and stuff like that, it's a really cool effect to be working with. I'll just give you an idea of what it does. Let's go out on this photo so you can see the whole thing. This is a really one-stop shop effect. Anyone who's familiar with airbrushing from the 80s will understand what this effect is all about. There you go. That is some major instant gratification. Let's go into that shot so you can see what it's doing. So you can see that it has some real benefits, and you can pull it down. You can bring it in a lot. That's just a crazy effect. I think a lot of, if you got clients that are women, they're gonna love this style of shot. I really like sort of a natural look, but sometimes I do bring in the Orton effect just a bit. Now, remember that within the Orton effect, there's not only one type, there's two types. There's type 2 as well. Type 2 is a bit more tasteful, I find, when you bring it in. That is lovely. That is really, really pretty. I haven't even dodged and burned yet, everybody. I haven't even dodged and burned yet. So there you go. No questions. Nobody's asking me questions. Smash that like and subscribe, everybody. You're probably all subscribed, but it doesn't matter. Listen, I just wanted to tell you. So there you go. That's the type of edit that I would do on something like this. Let me pull down a tiny bit the Orton effect. Now, I showed you a couple of possibilities, and this is the type. To me, this is what I would do in Luminar. Once I'm done with this in Luminar, I would take this and now bring it back into Photoshop. You saw how I got out of Photoshop. To go back into Photoshop, all I do is I press the apply button. Now, I don't know how long this is going to take. It might take a little while. Remember, I'm working with about a 45 megapixel image. That's, 45 meg image that is 50 megapixels. There you go. Now, remember, once you get into this new layer, you'll have the new layer with all the effects already on it. That's the old, that's the new, okay? Now, if we go in there, you can see it a bit better. I don't know why, but Luminar is really doing a better job at showing. So there you go. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crop this because I really think her face is the nicest part. Let's crop for Instagram. So we'll go to the crop tool. We'll go ratio 1:1. There you go. Let's say we crop like that. There you go. Now I will dodge and burn anyways. So I'll go to adjustments. This is really quick, guys. I'm not going to take too much of your time. I'm going to go edit the other photo. Burn. Call this burn. Invert. And then I'll do another adjustment on the curves. Go get this, go to the brightest spot, bring up, and call it dodge. Dodge. Press Control I to invert. Burn just a tiny bit, just to get those jawbones popping. Tiny bit, take the brush. There you go. The eyebrows have been done in Luminar pretty well. Get some contrast in the hair, so I'll burn some of the hair. Hair is so important to bring in highlights, so you bring in dodge. Make sure my opacity isn't too high. I don't want to go too nuts. Dodge. Brighten up those eyes. Do the tip of her nose. Zoom in. The things I dodge are always the catch lights and the tip of the nose, the cheek, and a bit around wherever her makeup is, just to give it a sort of dimension. It's kind of fun. Let me look at that. I think that's a beautiful image. So let's pull out and see what we had initially. Let me just put this in Control G. Call this dodge and burn. Dodge and burn. There you go. That's the dodge and burn that I've done so far. Let's take that out. Retouches, main, there. That's what we had initially. And this is what we now have. Put each layer up, put each layer up. And there it is. There it is. That is nice. Now, you might want to create a vignette on this. Again, I do the same thing. Again, I go Shift, Control, Alt, E, which flattens the layer. I go back into Luminar, Luminar -2. Why do I go back in Luminar? I go back in Luminar because I really like the implementation of vignette within Luminar. So you go to Skylum software, Luminar, over here. Oh, what's saying? Hi, a tutorial for dodge and burn would be nice. Yeah, true. You know what? That tutorial of dodge and burn would be nice within Luminar. I just realized that a lot of people don't know that you can dodge and burn within Luminar. Now I'm going to go over to Pro, dodge adjustable. Like, one minute, give me a second here. Point effect, creative. Light, enhance color, black and white. Here it is, vignette. I'm going to put a vignette in here. Why am I putting in a vignette? To pull just to get people to look at this, to concentrate on the portrait of the girl. The light on the outside is getting people away. So there's two ways. You can either blur or vignette. I'll do both. So I go here. What's really cool is now they have a button here. Choose subject. You choose your subject. Then when you do your vignette, it'll go around that subject. You see that? You can change the size of the vignette, bring it in, bring it out. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. I like that. I like to be subtle. There you go. Now there's other stuff I can do. There's one thing that I really do love. Where is it again? Creative. Oh, mystical. I just love this thing. I just bring this up. I find that just so beautiful. But I don't need it here because I've done enough. I really have. This is like, to me, this is the limit of what I would do in the edit. Again, go back into Photoshop. I press apply. There he is. Ha! Mario wants dodge and burn as well. Well, I'll give you guys that for sure. I think it is a good idea. I just never thought of doing that. As I eat my gingerbread cookie, sip my water. Here's what we had after. Here's what we have now. So again, it is up to you. Now remember, this is the way I work. I flatten the layer. You can make a smart object and go into Luminar and come back, and then you'll actually be able to re-edit your smart object after. The problem with that is anytime you crop or do anything, it has to go back into the smart object. It's like, it definitely slows down your workflow. But if you want adjustability, I would advise you to create a smart object and then export to Luminar. Last thing I'm going to do, last thing. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take this Luminar 2. I'm going to go Control J. Why do I do that? Because I'm not sure about what I'm about to do. I'll do blur, iris blur. Call it iris blur. Big fan of iris blur. So I take this layer right here. I'll put a filter and go down here to blur gallery and put iris blur. Iris blur again takes the attention and brings it towards the center. This is a great example of how iris blur really is beneficial, because I always love to see a progressive blur in the hair. Like here's when I go exaggerated. That's too much, way too tacky, but I just wanted to show you what it's doing. Once you're done with that, you press OK. And there you go. That's the iris blur. That's without, that's with. You can look right here at the hair. That's where you see what it's doing. Now it's not a strong effect, but it's there, and it's really there to, I guess, sort of, how can I say, just bring the eye towards the subject. So that's enough of that edit right there. I just wanted to do that edit for you. I hope you guys like that. No. Okay, there's 8 people watching. Cool. Okay, guys, I want confirmation that you're smacking that like button. Oh, that's too funny. Okay, so this is the last one. Again, you guys can ask me any questions. So I know now I got to do a dot. Let me write that down. Let me write that down. Dodge and burn. Dodge and burn. Dodge and burn. In Lightroom. In Luminar. Any other things, guys? That's another thing. Any other things you'd like me to talk about within Luminar? To do within Luminar? I can do that for you. Now, while I am here, I'll just, guys, why don't I let you see? Okay. Okay, there you go. You guys, I'll let you see, there you go. I just wanted you guys to see a bit of the photo shoot I did with Mireille a little while back. That's while I'm looking for my other shot. Might as well let you see that, huh? 2270. She's a sweetheart. She's a really cool chick. You know, she's a body model. She does a lot of body stuff. We did a couple of shots where she has one of those butts. She could be one of those Instagram butt models for sure. There's no doubt about that. But she's really a sweetheart and really cool girl to work with. So here's the image you guys saw on the thumbnail. We're going to work with that right now. So I just opened it up. Right now, I would not touch any of this for exposure. If I bring this up, you're going to lose a bit of the drama. That is what is really great about using medium format, is that the amount of dynamic range you get in your shot is just unfriggin' believable. It just pops. It really pops and makes your, like this shadow right here. Let me open this up. There you go. Oh, by the way, here's a couple of other shots that I did take with her, which I am going to do a behind the scenes with Mireille for sure. But it's just, you know, she does a lot of athletic wear. She does tons of athletic wear shoots, and she's a great girl. I will leave an Instagram link to her stuff, but she doesn't put a lot of her photos up. She basically just puts personal stuff there. But anyway, so here you guys go. Let's just check it out. So we're in this right here. I'm going to go Control-0, which makes it fill the screen. Now, it doesn't look focused for some reason. Let me go Control-J to make this a new layer. Call it Main. There you go. Let me go into this. If you go in close, though, you're going to see that it's pretty tack sharp. No, that isn't tack sharp. Oops. Wrong shot. It isn't 2270 I'm looking for. Go back in here. Yeah, that isn't the sharpest one. Again, I'll let you guys see the behind the scenes a bit, and then I'll just try to find the right shot. There you go. This was shot in a studio where we started doing flash photography, and I really did change my mind and started doing, I said, screw this, I'm going to do, I know where I can find it out. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Yeah, like you go there, and the thing is that even if you set up a flash setup, the light at one point in the afternoon gets so nice that you say, screw this, I'm not going to do any flash photography. I'm going to do some, I'm going to do some natural light photography. And you end up being tempted in doing natural light. Won't be long, guys. Yes, the model is online. Yeah, her name is Mirbut. Here, I'll put her. You guys at least go to her Instagram. Here it is. go there and follow her. But again, as I said, she does put a couple of shots of her stuff, but not all the time. You can definitely get in touch with her. I believe she has an agency though. So she's one of those models where she sends it to her agent when you call her up and ask for to shoot with her. Ah, I think I found it. Yes, I did. There you go. Okay. There you go. So let's go back here. You guys, everyone has a crush on a model. There you go. Hey, what about me? Okay, so here we are. We're back in the image. I took the wrong image and it was out of focus a tiny bit. So I'm going to play with this a bit. I'm going to bring the exposure up, but not that much. Again, what I was saying before is that with the GFX 50R, because it's medium format, is that anything involving highlights and shadows and the subtleties towards each gradient is unbelievably better than APS-C or full frame. Just want to tell you guys that right off the bat. Is there an E? Good question. Give me a second. I'll tell you. I think you might be right. It's just... Give me a second. I'll go to her Instagram. Instagram. Mia. Yes, there is an E. Not at the end though. It's really like that. Mirbu, like that. So there you go. So guys, I'm going to do another edit with this full body edit. Again, what we're going to do is we're going to work in Lightroom. I'm going to go a bit nuts on this. Now, some of you might not like the edit I'm going to do because I'm going to go nuts and do mystical and the whole bit. But I find this shot really looks like a Nike commercial, like, you know, the girl that sort of just finished training. So let's go to main. I just created a new layer called main. I'm going to go into that, look at what I got to do. Now, because it's an athletic thing, I do have to use Liquify for this. So I will go into Liquify. Might end up on the other page. No, it's there. And I'm going to do just a couple of edits for my body here. I'm going to go into this right here. I would probably... This is not her fault. Again, see, Mireille has no body fat, but she's got pants on that sort of tighten around the legs and the waist. So you got to pull that in. You got to watch out. You see the bricks in the back? Let's say I pull this in. See what happens? If the brick looks crooked, it doesn't look natural. So I'm just bringing in all the pinching of the clothing, making it look uniform. Right here again, see where the legging, the elastic of the leg pinches in. I'll just pull that out just a bit. Now, all these little adjustments, they add up. I think the best thing to tell you guys when you're doing Liquify is try to keep it real. Don't go too nuts. And make sure you pay attention to what's in the background so you don't liquefy what's in the background. I always bring down the shoulder a tiny bit. The next thing I always do is bring up the chin here. What I try to do is compare what I see when I look at this model and what the photo does with all the lens distortions and stuff like that, and try to at least match with my perception of what the model is. I think that's nice. I'm going to go okay on that. Here's what I did. That's without, that's with. So you see the chin and the hair, the shoulders, I bring them in, and I just bring in that little part there. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm probably going to go right into Luminar on this one. Control J, call this the Luminar. I could call it Luminar 1 because I go in and out of Luminar all the time. No, I'm not going to save that. Okay. 12 people watching. Hello, everybody. To the new people watching, smash the like button, subscribe, do all that shit. Make it happen. Oh, boy. I find myself funny. Okay, so now I'm looking at this shot and I'm saying, okay, let me Control 0 to look at the whole thing. I might crop right away just because I don't want to deal with any processing power I can get rid of. I will do. I love to crop in 4:5. What ratio do you guys like to crop in? Tell me. Let's make this artistic. She's looking away, so I think I'm going to put her on one side of the image. And I really like the floor, the drama of that floor in the picture. So I'll put her at the top there. If I wanted to, I could go for 5-7, would give me a bit more distance on her looking away like that. See, so I could pull it out a bit. But I really do like 4-5. Depends on who you are, what you do, what you like. What is your favorite aspect ratio? Write in the comments, people. Your pictures on IG are amazing. Thank you, Ted Shields. Oh, by the way, you guys, I don't know if you know this, I have a new artistic written like that. That is my my new Insta profile. It is private, and it showcases the human body. If you guys want to check that out, it's really nice too. You guys, everybody watching me right now, please go to that Instagram profile. I want to hear some bloops, bloops on my phone telling me you want to join into that profile. It's a bit different. It's less corporate, more artistic. There you go. So first of all, let's look at that image. It always looks blurry, and I don't know why in Photoshop. Let's zoom in so you can see. It's sharper than a tack. It's like sharp when you look at it like that. So I think after this crop, oh, I'm pissed. I see this metal here. It's bothering me. So I'm going to recrop, everybody. Just get that metal out. I could probably do some clone stamping there. Just don't like that metal. It doesn't fit with the whole vibe of the picture. There you go. Now, I'm going to take this. I am going to go and finally, I think I am ready to go into Luminar. Now, what I would have done initially probably was to go and retouch. What does it say? That new artistic, it's amazing. So much inspiration. Cool. Thanks a lot, Elliot. I'm glad you like. Okay, so back to this. Now, what I'm going to do here is normally in Photoshop, I'd create a layer and I'd go to my healing brush, make sure it's at current and below, and probably retouch this leg. Let's go see what Luminar can do with that leg. It's a bit blurry, so I'm wondering if it's going to be able to see that. So I will get rid of this layer, take this, go filter, software, Luminar 4, and we'll export. While I'm exporting, I'll let you guys see Mirbut doing her thing. Yeah, that's a GoPro that I had on the side. By the way, just so you know, I have, you're just seeing one flash. That flash you see right now is the SK300. They're by Godox. They're okay. The refresh is terrible. But what you do not see is to the right of her is a beauty dish. Anyone who watches my channel will know that I love beauty dishes a lot. And there's a beauty dish on her face, and that's giving the great shots in the actual intense image there on that shot. So let's go back to our image. Now we are in Luminar. Let's go try right away. We're going to go into portrait enhancer. Sorry, I'm going into skin enhancer. Let me just pull this up right to 100. Let's see what happens. AI skin defects removal. Image processing. See that here? No. The AI is not seeing that. It's not seeing that. So these blisters would actually stay there. What I'm going to go do is affect the rest of the skin, and I'll go retouch that after. So I'll take skin defects removal off. By the way, you guys, for me, skin defects removal is just not there. I don't use it. I haven't used it since I had the software. So I'm going to bring this up to here. Let's go and zoom this in. Let's go look. So I'm going to go here and use the before and after. Zoom into her face. Okay, that's before. That's after. Before, after. Now check out the chest area and the stomach area. It is really quite spectacular what it's doing. Look at that. That is great. It's just not dealing with these like little blues and blisters. She had told me before that she had a bit of a blue and blister thing going on. There's the skin before, there's the skin after. I am going to put that pretty high. Let's pull ourselves back out there. By the way, very subtle. It is. It's quite amazing, Ted, how subtle their thing is. So I can't really do a lot with Portrait Enhancer here because her face is looking away. So I wouldn't really enhance the eyes here anyways, because I think the vibe is already happening in this shot. High key is something you might want to check out, like this. Again, high key is something where I would definitely create a layer, new adjustment layer, and in that I'd add high key. Bring that high key in. Play with the blacks a tiny bit to get even more drama. And then go back into layers and adjust how much of that drama I want, like that. So here is, let's see what without looks like. That's without. Very orangey, warm look. And this is more of an industrial look, which I think might be cool on a Nike commercial, if you get what I mean. I kind of like that. You know, I'm going to leave that there. There you go. We're back in here. So don't forget, everybody, if you're working with adjustment layers, you want to play with layers, go right up here and press the layer button. If you want to crop and do all the standard things, you have the canvas button right here where you can do erase, clone. By the way, if you guys just want to see erase really quick, it's pretty friggin' incredible. Let's say I go in here and I say, you know, I don't like this thing. It's this friggin' simple. Watch this. It goes preparing. Okay, you press the erase tool. You go over the thing you want to erase. You wait a second. Okay, let's say I want to erase that. This right here, that little spot. And I don't like this right here because it's taking away attention. I can go done, let it process. It's erasing and poof. There it is, it's gone. This one, it did a good job. This, it did an amazing job. And this one over here, not that great. Let's check that out. No, it did a good job, it's great. So that's what the erase tool does, just so you guys know. You also have clone and stamp, and you can look at your lens geometry in here, but I'm gonna get into that probably in one of those tutorials that I do. So there you go. What else will I do? Okay, so now it's time to go overboard. I will go over here into creative. Anyone who's watched the station, I did a thing just on some of the creative things that are really cool. I'm going to work with sun rays a tiny bit. So let me go into sun rays here. Place sun center. I'm going to place it out here as if it's out there. I will bring up the amount. Yes, I know it looks stupid. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay. Advanced settings, number of sun rays I'm going to bring down. Sun radius. Sun glow amount, sun warmth. Try to match to what you're shooting. Okay. Now there's a difference between sun warmth and sun rays warmth. So the sun rays warmth will make the rays themselves have a warmer temperature, like in the 3200s and stuff like that. The sun warmth will actually affect the light that's in the picture and to make it warmer or less warm. You can randomize here. Let's try to get something that's on her face. There you go. Bring that amount down. Take sun center away. Bring that down just a bit. That is a look you could go for. I'm not going for it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But anyways, that was a look that I think you guys can do if you feel like it. It is there. I will put that down to 0. Okay, dramatic. Bring this up. Look at that. That's nuts. Local contrast. Okay, I'm not going to put that in. Matte look. This is the matte look. I really like that. Personally, I love that. I almost have the shot right there for a lot of reasons. Now, a couple of things I'm going to do when I go back into Photoshop, and we're going to end this live stream, is I'm going to, greetings from the nation's capital. Tim Skinner, Canada's there. Oh, you guys don't know how I love Tim. Tim's a great guy. He really helps me out, and he keeps me encouraged. Sometimes YouTube gets me down. Tim is always there to tell me to keep on doing what I'm doing. Thank you very much. I'm supposed to be the motivator. He's motivating me more than I'm motivating him. So there you go. There's the matte look. Thanks for joining me, Tim, by the way. Now, mystical is a crazy thing. It's like a combination of glow, of defocus, and I just want to show you guys what mystical looks like. So every time you do stuff, you're bringing in these cool little vibes, cool little feels, and it's kind of fun. Another thing I wanted to mention is the LUTs within Luminar are far superior far superior to Photoshop. I mean, really way better. They're just kick-ass instant gratification color LUTs. What is a color LUT? A LUT is a color lookup table, and it basically it really is filters. It's a type of filter that you basically put on your stuff, but it's just, they call it a lookup table because it basically says this is the way the software is going to treat the colors within the image. So it's a color lookup. It's looking up how to treat the colors. And here are some choices you have: Anaheim, Bakersfield, Long Beach, Los Angeles, Palm Springs, Riverside, San Diego, Santa Barbara, 1960. Wow, that's crazy. Beijing. Again, we're getting more and more cool stuff. I'm good to, let's go crazy. I'm going crazy on that one. That's the LUTs you have. You have texture overlay. I've talked about these a bit. There's another video on this. I'm going to leave a link below so you guys can check it out. But there's film grain as well. You can bring in a bit of film grain vibe to give it a sort of look as if it was shot with a 35mm camera. And it does a really good job. Really good job. What you also can do is create a layer again. New adjustment layer, add adjustment layer. Go back to creative, and in that bring your film grain up, okay? And then after that, go back to layers and adjust that layer so you bring it down a tiny bit. It's really up to you. I find it blends a bit better with the image when you do it that way. It might be just something in my imagination, but to me, it's just something that is there. There you go. I think I like what I see. Now that is radically away from what the image was initially. I think, there you go. I'll press apply. Again, we're going back, exporting into, so I'll let you guys see images of Mireille so you can look at her posing for the photos. So remember, now we're going back into Photoshop. When you go back into Photoshop, let me see, screen plus me. When you go back into Photoshop, as you can see, it's still processing that layer. It takes a little while. Remember, it's a giant file. Filter Luminar progress. I might as well just go back to Mireille. What else do you see there that I can talk about? Yes, I use a white paper backdrop in the back. You see that? I don't know if anyone can see that. Let's see what's eating up processing power right now. There you go. So this is already, guys, you'll see in my review, again, I have a Luminar review. You will see that one of the cons is processor speed. And we just saw it right there. It just started hogging up processor speed. And for a little while, when I wanted to re-import back into Photoshop, it had a bit of a hard time. Now, there are two ways I can affect this. Now, first of all, I'm going to go here and do what I wanted to do, which was do retouches. I'm going to go here, zoom in, get rid of those faults on the legs. Go as fast as I can. Sorry about this, everybody. I don't know if you guys, if you do not know how to use the healing brush, you basically alt-click where you want to sample, and then you place your correction over where you want it. There you go. There you go. I'm doing this real quick. Yeah. You get the gist. I don't want to waste too much of your time, but here's without, and that's with. So I got that done a bit. So you probably want to see what I would do. I'd probably put something in here, you know, sort of just do it. Nice and big. Put this up to 48, maybe 60. And go here, put Nike. I don't know what the font is. If you guys know what Nike's font is, mention it. I'll put 200. There you go. There's the concept. Don't you love it? Don't you just love that stuff? And now, there's another thing I wanted to show you guys here. I'm just going to group these two. Call it lettering. Now, what I didn't mention, and people keep on asking me, how do you work within as a plugin? I'd go Shift Control Alt Delete and make this. Shift Control Alt E. Sorry, and then I'd create this layer. Call it New Main. Now, what I do with this is I would create a mask on that. Or I'd just vary the opacity. Now, let me start by varying the opacity. Oh, did it again. I always do that. Yes, delete. So you can just vary the opacity of the layer you just made in Luminar. Okay, I'll go over here just to show you that. So you can just take your layer and say, you know what, I'm going to bring down the fill and let the other image underneath pop up. So you can vary your effect. That's one way you can work. Okay. You can also, though, go here and take this layer and you can place a mask here and draw in where you want the effect to be. You can invert the mask and then play with your image, or you can just play with your image and mask off where you want. I like everything that's here, so I will not be doing that. Oh, I just want to go into my lettering. It's bothering me. We'll give it a second here. Yeah, something like that. There you go. I know I did that. Gotcha. I'll leave it there for now. Okay. So that's all I wanted to show you guys there. So you can actually mask out and keep on working within Photoshop. And that's the way I work. I'm not saying you guys should work that way. I'm just saying that that's the way I work. You guys, remember to check out the review. There's some pros and cons to this software. There's some great stuff. There's some stuff that is lackluster. And, you know, I talk mostly about the cons of this software. I really do talk about the fact that it has processing issues, library issues. I mean, the library to me is not developed that well, but it's still a great software. And the other thing is that I wish they'd have a mobile. If they had, seriously, if they put a mobile version of this software up, and they got to do it because Lightroom has just come out with a great mobile version of their software. So I think they really do got to do that as quick as possible, because I think it would just be a bonus for them to do that. It would just, they would definitely smash the competition, because some of these features are just great. I mean, the instant gratification and the quality and the tastefulness of this stuff is just out of friggin' hand. It really is out of hand. So that's it, guys. Remember, if you guys want to buy the software, you can go in this description, check it out. I have all the links, or go to the Luminar review. There's all the links for Black Friday. There's a bunch of discounts and stuff happening there. The only thing is my discount code during the Black Friday days doesn't work. I just want you guys to know that. But it will work after, if later on, so there's no rush to buy the software. You can buy it at a later date. Guys, it was a lot of fun being here. You know, Jacques Gaines Photography is all about the journey, not only about getting that shot, but actually the journey getting there. You guys like, share, subscribe, and do not forget, everybody, keep on making something from nothing.